The city of Gaziantep lies about 65 kilometers from the Syrian border. Since the war broke out in Syria, hundreds of thousands of refugees have found sanctuary here. Among them are many Syrian journalists. One of them is a young reporter who we'll call Ahmad. He's been researching the brutal atrocities committed by the so-called Islamic State. He no longer feels safe in Turkey and lives in hiding. After a long wait for an interview, we meet him in an empty playground on the edge of town.
My family lived for a while in an IS-controlled area. Before they were able to flee, they were threatened repeatedly because of an article I wrote. Then IS started threatening me directly, writing that they would find me and kill me. I can work from home, and I don't leave my apartment unless it's absolutely necessary. And I change address on a regular basis.
His fears are not unfounded. In mid-May, his colleague, Mohammed Zahar al-Shargat, was shot point-blank on this street corner in broad daylight. Al-Shargat had also published material on the crimes committed by IS in Syria.
It happened over there on the pavement. The gunman fled on foot. We were just sitting here in front of the shop. We get murders now, bomb attacks, missiles coming over from Syria. We've gotten used to it.
Al-Shargat was the fourth Syrian journalist to be murdered in Turkish cities near the border. In mid-June, this man survived an attack but was severely wounded. Each time, Islamic State claimed responsibility, but not once has a suspect been arrested. How is it possible that this brutal terrorist organization can operate with impunity in Turkey? We drive to the Syrian border region, accompanied by Ali Demirhan, a Turkish human rights activist. He's long been investigating the activities of IS and other radical Islamic groups in the border region. He says border installations on the Turkish side have been fortified, but they don't hinder the jihadists.
They climb over walls, crawl through tunnels, or come across green areas that are not guarded. According to official statistics, between 500 and 1,500 people cross the border illegally every day.
The Turkish border town of Reyhanli is considered a stronghold of IS and other radical Islamic groups from Syria. A monument pays tribute to 53 people killed in an IS bomb attack. Syrians are now in the majority in the town. No one is willing to talk to us about IS.
We know that there are groups here which help militant jihadists from Syria with smuggling and getting in and out of the country. Reyhanli is the jihadists' logical center. This is the hub where everything comes together from both sides of the border.
Turkish human rights activists also discovered this: Syrian children working in a garment factory in Turkey making uniforms for the war back home. IS fighters are reported to be among the customers. But asking questions about IS here in the border area is clearly unwelcome. Shortly after we started filming, we were stopped by plainclothes police officers and ordered to leave the town. But Demirhan has more to show us. He takes us to a deportation center for foreigners, some 30 kilometers from Reyhanli. He says many foreign IS fighters are held here, although rarely for longer than a few weeks.
Although they're suspected IS terrorists, they just get deported after a short while to a third country without being charged. Everything that happens in this deportation center is secret. The Turkish Secret Service is in charge here. We think it's basically a transit center for jihadists.
We tried to talk to the governor of Gaziantep about the center and about the killing of Syrian journalists in Turkey, but our requests for an interview got no response. Even Turkey's chief state prosecutor views Gaziantep as the headquarters of IS in Turkey. Since the murder of his friend Naji Jarf, who was lured into an ambush despite taking precautions, Ahmad no longer trusts the Turkish state.
We suspect that parts of the security apparatus in Turkey are working together with IS, but we can't prove it. Corruption is very widespread in Turkey's civil service, and because of the close proximity to Syria, it's very tempting for some to try to make money from the war.
Could Turkish officials have been accessories to murder in return for bribes? It's a serious accusation. The murderers of Ahmed's colleagues might still be in Gaziantep. He's keen to get back into hiding before darkness falls.
I want to say that I admire these colleagues.